Now, 20 people died at the country's level crossings. That's according to the Railway Safety Regulator's 2020-21 report on the state of safety. The regulator believes that these deaths were preventable, but motorists and pedestrians overestimate their abilities. For more on this, I'm joined by Thando Makoyi, the Safety, Health, Risk, Environment and Quality Compliance Manager at independent rail operator Traxtion. Thando, very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. Interesting that motorists and pedestrians are said to overestimate their abilities, which is why we've seen such an increase in the deaths.
And thanks for having me. Really appreciate this opportunity as Traxtion. We actually really believe as a company that not only are we responsible for our safety, but we are responsible for the safety of the public. The public sometimes don't realize, the amount of time that it takes for the train to stop. And sometimes, a loaded train as compared to an empty train, they've got stopping distances that vary. So if a loaded train is approaching a level crossing, it might take even longer to stop. Hence today, we decided, since this is an international level crossing awareness day, let us as Traxtion embark on an awareness campaign together with the Railway Safety Regulator. And then we make sure that we visit all the hotspots that not only we had previous incidents, but we might have incidents in future and make the public aware.
South Africa's railway network has around 7,500 level crossings in operation, which pose a hazard to commuters and pedestrians. And we also know, perhaps give us a breakdown of the vehicles that may be involved and the crashes which involve cars, how those occur, and what perhaps are the factors that come with these accidents happening.
I think mostly, when it comes to vehicles and cars, it's drivers taking shortcuts, it's drivers being complacent. It's not as if, the drivers don't know the rules of the road, because railways is in conjunction with the road networks, with the municipalities, to make sure that all our level crossings have got proper road safety signs. The road users do realize that they need to stop at a level crossing, but then sometimes when they get to a level crossing, and as complacent as our public is, they just decide to go through. And sometimes not only because they think they want to race with the train, but sometimes when they look at the train, they find out that the train is actually far than it looks. And then when the train hits them, it's basically too late.
What safety tips do you have for pedestrians and drivers alike? Well,
the first is to be aware of, the level crossings, especially the level crossings that are in your route. If you've got a route that you go to work to, or you've got a route where you go to school. Hence today we decided to go to a technical school so that we start from the grassroots. We teach kids from the level before they start driving to be aware of the level crossing. And then when you get to the level crossing, being a pedestrian or being a vehicle user, you really need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to look left and right and make sure that it is safe to proceed. Always stop in the level crossings and make sure there's no train approaching before you proceed.
What sort of compensation is available for those who may find themselves injured, or perhaps a death takes place at a level crossing?
Come again, sorry, ma'am?
When it comes to compensation, how does it work with the railway industry? Because, of course, with the road accident fund, that would involve a vehicle. But when it comes to a pedestrian trying to cross a railway, perhaps they get injured or perhaps they die. What sort of compensation is available?
I'm not really at liberty to understand the legal part when it comes to pedestrian or road users that are actually struck by a train at a level crossing. I guess it will have to go through the process of law. But as we working in the railways, as much as we want to protect everyone, we want everyone to be safe. But then the rule of law is a train has got a right of way. So if you're being struck by a train, it means you never obeyed the rules laid out for you to protect yourself. Hence, at Traxtion, try to make sure that we avoid even any incident on the level crossing.
I know you made mention of some of the word of caution that you spoke of, and that how passengers or pedestrians perhaps overestimate their abilities. Do you think that there is sufficient signage? I mean, are the warnings there to show that this is a place that you approach with caution? Is it a problem also of visibility when it comes to the signage that's been put at these railway crossings?
I think, boy, it's actually safe to say that with the rail regulator in place, they always go out and do inspections and do audits on all rail operators. I think in South Africa we've got about 240 rail operators. And with the RSR being out there making sure that all these are in place, it's safe to say it's not a matter of signage is not being in place or visibility not being met. But yes, at this stage, I will say from my side, from the Traxtion perspective, that all is in place, and I think the compliance is not an issue when it comes to rail accidents, especially with level crossings.
Very well. Let's leave it there for now. Thank you for your time. Thando Makoyi, the Safety, Health, Risk, Environment and Quality Compliance Manager at Independent Rail Operator Traxtion.